And now, the award-winning Simply Youth Ministry podcast with Doug Fields and friends.
That is the best. Those are the best 2.0 hands. Holy smokes.
All right, ready?
Yay! Brizzle, were you rubbing my hands like that would bother me?
Hey everybody, Doug Fields here with Matt McGill
Hey,
and
everybody.
Josh, and our special guest replacing Jana for one more week is Jake Rutenbar, the contest winner.
Hi, everybody.
Who beat out some other people. But
So
this is our
appreciative.
Simply Youth Ministry podcast. We'd like to know it is just enough youth ministry so you don't feel guilty for listening. Or we like to say your extended staff meeting. Join us in that empty chair. Be a part of our staff meeting. We've got this will surprise. I could have kept this from you.
You should have.
Well, I'm not going to in the open, honest
In the
podcast.
spirit of honesty.
Yeah, I cannot find my podcast folder. I was admitting it. I'm admitting it. I've lost it several times. I know I'll find it, but when I went to grab it to prep, so these are all questions that have come in this week. But
So it's fresh. It's hot and fresh.
it is
serving
hot
up
and fresh,
hot-
which is where
hot
usually
podcast.
where
That'd be a good title for this episode.
Hot and
Hot and
fresh.
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 We don't title them.
Episode. I know,
Rookie.
but if you ever got into the habit of
Rook.
doing it,
remember Matt last week. This is episode what? Andy, you haven't done your job.
I was just mouthing it to him like, what number? And then you asked
86.
for it.
86.
86.
This is episode 86. In 85, we got a email from Philip Walker, our buddy in Fountain Valley, and he said he was an African American. And then he made a bunch of comments, and they said just kidding. And Matt said, I wonder if he's just kidding if he's African American.
Funny.
He writes back in, just want to let you know that I am really black or African American, whatever you want to call it. I could attach a photo, but thought that would be a little much. Just take my word for it. Also,
will.
please inform Matt that because I was offended by his comment, I've made a call to Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. He should hear from them shortly.
He'll be on
That
Larry
was
King tonight
perfect.
talking about this
That's
podcast.
right. That's
Seriously.
I was offended too. I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah.
This one is
I'm
from
fresh.
Elizabeth.
I'm offended by foolishness, but we still deal with that.
Elizabeth from Redemption Church International in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is an interest, and I don't want to do this next week because Jana will be here, but it says this: while you were on hiatus from the show, I listened to old episodes and noticed that the ones with Natalie on them were a lot more funny and silly, equal Philly. Now that Jana is on, you all seem to get to more content, and I'm not happy with this. Bring back Silly and bring back Natalie as a guest sit-in. If you don't, then you'll have to change your slogan to "So much youth ministry, you won't have fun listening."
Elizabeth is right. Now, do you think it is really, Natalie versus Jana that made the change, or was it something else?
I don't think there has been a change. I think. Well, definitely we get more content with Jana.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, you made fun of Natalie more than you ever made fun of Jana.
Could it be that Matt's part of the grown-up leadership of the church now?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't just other things have changed. I mean, Matt's now big time.
Yeah.
No, I've always
You're
been big time.
still big time. Andy's big time.
You're more big time.
You're way more big time because you've got things you have to do every week.
I actually have tasks and projects now.
Yes,
It's crazy.
You've got objectives.
You actually have a ministry.
Well, it's funny how we just exchanged roles.
Exactly, yeah. You get to do whatever, and I'm working again. It's no fun.
That's
Oh,
right.
But at least I have
man.
ministry moments this summer. That's all I can say.
That's what I'm saying. I know. I meant that as a compliment to you.
But I mean, the budget is a big accomplishment, so be proud.
Yeah, you did the budget. You did the budget for Southside Church.
You know what?
As I baptize students, it's cool. It's cool that you're working on an Excel sheet.
Wow. You got to pull that out more often.
That was good.
Sorry.
That was good.
No,
For those that
don't
didn't
be
listen
sorry.
last week,
Don't be
Matt
sorry.
was just feeling like he didn't have many ministry moments this summer.
Well, it was a couple weeks ago that it came up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That someone said,
We were
what's a
share-
ministry moment?
Yeah.
And then last week, after this podcast, I shared a very personal moment, which of course is what needed to be broadcast the following week on the podcast. But hey, who's counting?
Yeah, you know.
But yeah, there you go.
Hot and fresh.
All right. That's right. I'm fresh.
Well, Elizabeth, sorry about the change in the show,
I've
right?
got
I don't
so
know that
very
that's...
little to hide in my life.
You know what? We've got
I'm
a
fine being embarrassed.
we've got a
Was this any good? Because it doesn't look good.
no, it is good. It is good. I haven't seen it
It looks
yet.
patriotic.
but I
Live
did it.
out loud.
This is the newest product that Andy put in here as product placement. It's a 6-week of small group curriculum, but it's video curriculum. Matt, you and I have talked about this for years. I did this year, shot 6 videos. Love Out Loud, Love Risks, Love Serves, Love Multiplies, Love Forgives, Love Lasts.
I like it.
And what is it? Is it just you talking? So
It's just me talking.
So talking head.
It's
There's
a red,
3
white, and blue
cameras, so it's
package.
very
wow.
youth-friendly, man.
Is one of them kind of shaky and like kind of
Yeah.
cuts off
Shaky
stuff?
and
Is one of them like the ER cam or
Sepia
kind of
tone.
a little bit?
Oh,
One.
sepia tone with a film grain.
One is upside down.
Ooh.
One, there's 4 of you on the
We
screen at
know
once.
how to reach you.
One zooms in and out quickly.
Oh,
Yes.
I love it. You are reaching the next generation.
Wow.
So anyway, this is 6-week curriculum. I haven't. I know it was showed all over the country this year. Shown all over the country this year in this summer. And how many spots, Andy? Like 250?
25,000 kids.
25,000 kids saw this.
Wow.
So
It had to be.
Where'd you record it at?
this was shown at group work camps.
Oh, that's
So it was kind of it was the morning Bible study.
Is that where they make like sweatshirts and clothes?
No, but Love Out
Group
Loud.
work camp.
Let's give this away.
Sweatshops. A little
Andy,
different.
let's give this
Little
away.
Cool.
I'm just gonna pull in the middle of one of the.
Oh, yes.
You go ahead, Jake. You just
We'll
pick
pull in
one.
the middle.
Here we
What
go.
about the first person? Maybe
What
she
about
likes-
Elizabeth,
Too late.
who was
Too
kinda-
late. No,
What
Elizabeth.
about Elizabeth?
Sorry, Elizabeth.
we go.
Here it is.
Winner
What's
is
the person's name?
Raymond Hopkins.
Raymond Hopkins.
Everybody loves
Raymond.
Everybody
Hopkins.
loves Raymond Hopkins, and Raymond Hopkins.
Hmm.
Write to Andy at AndySimplyYouthMinistry.com, and you get Love Out Loud 6 weeks of small group video curriculum. There it is.
Did you
we
just
had
do
those
that
lights.
because you're thinking of Anthony Hopkins?
No.
Oh, I was
doing that because I was
Sorry.
kind of thirsty and thought Brazel was going to get us some drinks.
I know that's your thirsty noise, but I thought I was on an Anthony Hopkins kick. Just 'cause
All right,
Anthony
Jake,
Hopkins.
we
Yeah,
got a
that's
little
good.
disappointment with you.
I know.
Well, don't
I,
even
I,
read that.
I just
happened?
felt this coming.
Why?
I sensed it coming.
Why?
Oh, no.
Because
I don't.
he's a woman
Because
and
I don't.
senses
I don't
things.
jive right. I feel. Oh man.
Jive, right?
Dude,
You
you're
don't-
a
what do you
good
mean you don't
jiver.
Jive right.
Raymond's on the live show right now, by the way.
Is he?
Oh.
Tell him
Raymond,
congratulations.
is he pumped that he just
Congrats.
won?
Tell him his question's in my pile here.
Okay.
Um,
What'd they say about me? I'm ready.
This is Lyle Parker from Fayetteville Christian.
He wrote
in the
last
show,
week.
so
Yeah.
he's paying
last week.
attention.
Okay.
He's
He
actually
said,
listening.
so here I was listening to the latest episode while working on volunteer stuff. When I hear my name, I stop what I was doing because I wanted to hear Doug's response to my
Oh,
question.
God.
And Jake starts moaning about his mic being junk, which fired into some meaningless debate about how Kurt would never receive such treatment.
It was not meaningless.
Upon being distracted, Doug skips over my question altogether.
Oh,
How do you
Ouch.
know that wasn't carefully calculated?
I
Yeah,
have
totally
to say I'm
intentional.
disappointed in Jake, especially after bragging on Hotel to my students and showing it to many jubilant outbursts of
Oh.
laughter. I'll admit I was poking a bit of fun at Doug, but
didn't
being
show it
brushed
to the
off,
laughter.
not what I would have expected from an award-winning podcast.
Oh,
He didn't show it to
boy.
the
Well,
laughter. The
here's my
laughter
here's my deal. I
resulted
feel a lot better after
because
hearing
of the
that.
video.
Yeah,
Because
it was really my fault.
Yeah, I was gonna say my job is just to supply some
What?
random
What are you
nonsense.
supposed to? Okay.
Nonsense?
Random
Yeah.
nonsense and background
I'd
songs.
say
I
you're
thought
right on
maybe-
target with that.
We thought you would give like rookie content.
Oh well,
Well, he's a
maybe
little
that's
bit
what
later.
that's
He's
what
not
random
really a rookie,
nonsense
though.
is.
Well, that's what I'm looking
compared
at.
to all
Compared to me,
compared to the
yeah.
room, clearly.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I forget your name, but I'm sorry.
How come you're doing that one?
Well, because this
call him
really
Raymond.
isn't a question.
Everybody's
It's
But I
NBCNewversion.com.
still think that headphone bit was great.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I
I never
like
gotten
it.
the nice
Okay,
headset.
well,
before.
I don't know anything about it.
What's
so,
the deal?
It says it isn't a question for a podcast, so Matt was kind of confronting me that I was pulling this out of the pile. Why are you getting rid of that one?
Do you think that guy would be
Confronting
double
you, you
pissed
need to
that
be
you read his
defensive.
email and
Huh?
still aren't
Just
going to give him an
asking.
answer?
No, but you kind of
Wasn't really.
you
Yeah,
wasn't
right,
trusting me,
yeah.
though.
Yeah, well, just
Should we look up that other guy's question? and
You guys
find
want
out
to do
what
your
he
own
really
show? What's going on?
Yeah, two guys
yeah.
who don't know anything.
Oh,
What
rest
was
in
the name of
peace,
your old
Tony.
podcast?
You're
What was the name of the old
I don't know.
podcast?
Two guys who do
10 minutes
stuff
with your dead
together.
mom.
Oh man, he let himself out of the box, but not very well. What was the podcast with you and
Who are
Tony
these
Stewart?
guys?
Who are these guys?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
that's
we could
This
do
is
that.
Adulterous podcast?
yes. I thought it was
I
called Two Guys
also
Who Don't Know Anything.
blood dope as well.
Uversion.com is so sweet and awesome.
Okay, tell me about it.
It is cool.
It's
Because
an
there's a
online.
question here from Sean, who's at Ridgecrest Baptist Church, and he
Ridgecrest?
says, it isn't a question for the podcast. That's why I was pulling it out of the
Well,
pile.
why did
Matt.
you have it in your pile?
I
then?
wanted to see
He said he doesn't have his filters. Probably
Why
hasn't.
did I have it in my pile?
Oh, you
Why do
haven't
you
prepped.
care?
I'm sorry.
Why do you
I thought
care?
you prepped.
I did
You're
prep.
so ahead of things.
I wanted to see if you guys have looked at uversion.com and what you think about it. What is it?
Uversion.com is a online Bible and social networking deal put together by LifeChurchTV.tv, and it is phenomenal. It is so sweet. These guys have done a great job, and I say these guys, I don't know them at all, but so it's not like I'm buddies, although maybe I wish I was. But it's got like 15 translations of the
Yeah,
Bible.
yeah.
It's got places where you can add a journal, like your personal journal, so that you and only you can see stuff. You
That's
can
really
make
cool.
notes that are public that everybody can see. I think you can upload video.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
Upload videos, find commentaries, it has all that stuff. All the other user-generated content from the web is now linked to Bible passages. So when you go prep a talk on the seeds that fell on the ground, some grew, some didn't, all that, you'll find 3 or 4 videos that will talk about that passage, Matthew 13, and you can actually pull those into your talk.
And
Yeah,
you know what's
it's pretty
super
cool.
funny is that I've only, in the last couple months, I've only been reading the Old Testament, and there's not a whole lot of links. So
The New Testament's a
anyhow,
little bit
that's
better.
really
Yeah.
funny just for myself,
Uversion.
but it's really sweet. Uversion's a
Uversion.com,
really, really
put out
cool
by
thing.
Life
Dumb
Church.
name. That's a bad title.
No,
It's like
'cause
YouTube.
You're the
Right.
one.
It's a bite.
So maybe it
Oh,
should be
it's like
Bible.
YouTube?
Yes, it's a bite off of somebody else. Right?
Oh, I thought it was
Well,
you,
maybe it
like it's
means it's
your version. You
personalized.
personalize it. I don't think it's
Even
off
still.
of YouTube.
But that's YouTube is the same way. It's
Yeah.
your
Oh, you're
television
right.
channel.
You're right.
It's like it's the
That
equivalent
was,
of saying
that was pretty dumb. I said
if
that.
you had like I pray.
It's still not as bad as
Chris,
God.
iBible.
Yeah.
Are you as bored as I am? Yeah.
Oh, he
Yes.
loves this.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's some on my own then. Go ahead.
There's another generation right after yours.
Yeah.
And they're interested in
Couple-
things on the
the
internet.
web.
No, I put it in my pocket. I'm going to
Collaboration.
go look at it. But I was
Awesome.
just interested after the first 30 seconds.
I
not
actually
4
sent
minutes.
an invite to Uversion to a bunch of people on my Facebook, but you don't have one of those, do you?
No, I don't.
Yeah. I think
Tell him
so.
what Facebook is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I have a
Twitter?
face space.
It's a social
I'm
networking
I'm
site
big
like
Twitter,
Uversion,
man.
but without the
Totally.
Bible.
I'm a big
Totally.
Twitter. I almost
Twitter.
have 500 posts.
Wow.
Once I
Whoa.
get to 500, Andy owes me another steak dinner.
Relay.
Are you going to quit eventually? Now you fulfilled
Why
your
would I
obligation.
quit? I'm a micro
He
blogger.
loves
You're good at it.
I am a
You're good at it.
micro-blogger.
I hope you never quit.
Well, thank you. This is from Dale Friesen, Mennonite Church, Morden Mennonite Church. Has
Well,
Doug ever read his
unfortunate name.
Wikipedia entry? Go Hansen. Number 2, on a serious note, I just finished reading Megan Hutchinson's book, Secret Survivors, and it is awesome. I would really appreciate it if you could forward this to her. That is a very impactful book, and I want to plan on ordering several more
That's
copies to give some students, and that would be great. I talked
That's
to Megan
cool.
yesterday, and I told her that we talked about it on the podcast, but I said I couldn't really remember the name of the book.
Yeah, that's right.
But I knew it was, and so
Do you
that's
sell it,
why I
Andy?
wanted to read this. Do we sell it?
Andy sells the book right here.
The first week it came out.
Brazel.
You sold out of it?
Sold
That
out.
means you
Good
weren't
for you.
risky enough to order enough.
Brazel-
We got like 2 cases of it.
Yeah, 2
Brazel
cases.
sells his mom's stock options.
Hey, speaking of that Love Out Loud, is that the video curriculum?
Yeah.
What does that go for?
35, 39, something like that.
$39?
Yeah.
How about a
Little
podcast
pricey.
special?
Podcast sale.
Wow.
Coupon code.
Think of it ahead if we can
How
do
come
it.
we have a different camera? How come we have 2?
Live feed, recorded feed.
That is so much smarter.
Just for
It's always been
Andy,
like
just
that.
for the
How
podcast
come
crew.
we never
Yeah,
thought about
got it.
that? We'll talk about it afterwards.
They've been doing that for a long time.
No, they haven't.
Yeah.
Have you?
He had the
Yeah.
Good camera.
He had the Xbox webcam in here last week.
You're right. I'm not very smart. That's the second really dumb thing I said today.
Oh, that you've noticed.
Yeah.
I would
Are
like
we
to
on
hear the other
episode?
ones.
Are we on episode
86.
86? Okay, so on episode 84,
fresh.
you
Sounds
slipped
like a
my
challenge.
questions, comment in twice. I was honored, but then you referred to me as a she, which kind of hurt.
Oh, what's her
This
name?
is from
Bessie emailed me.
Casey Prince.
Oh, what did she say?
Yeah, she sounds lovely.
What did Casey Princess say?
I just
Sorry.
thought I would
Matilda
clarify
Johnson.
that I'm super manly, even if my parents did give me a very gender-neutral name. And when combined
Oh,
with
it's not
Prince,
neutral.
which easily turns to Princess, gave me lots of grade school heartache.
I can imagine it did.
Yeah.
There's some
He's
great
a
manly
YouTuber.
cases, though.
He's a missionary in South Africa.
For
He's
Casey?
a missionary in
Name?
South Africa? How come
I
it
thought you
says...
said cases, not
He's back
Casey.
in North Carolina.
Casey.
Oh, okay.
Like who?
Casey Kochman used to play for the Angels, now plays for the Atlanta Braves.
Hey, speaking of the Angels, put it up. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Dude,
They
I have my
cinched
Angels
it.
shirt and sweatshirt on
They
today.
clinched the Western
I
Division.
think they
Yep.
cinched it.
It was the
No,
earliest.
it
They
was
didn't
cinchy. It was
cinch-
cinchy for
they
them to
didn't
clinch.
cinch
It was
the
a
title.
cinch how easily they
Cincinnati,
clinched.
It was cinchy.
Okay, this is from Jesse Chambers, and Jess says, my wife and I were having a lot of fun and good dialogue after you showed the podcast of Marriage and Ministry. Are you going to bring some new episodes back? We did one today. Kathy and I did one just right before this bad podcast, this award-winning podcast.
Yes,
that
this
Kathy
is
and I have a lot to
incredible.
look up to on this one.
You
and
sure
Andy,
do.
when will it be posted?
Probably Friday night.
Friday night?
Oh, that's
Okay.
kind of slow.
That takes so long. Wow.
What's
Back
why
in the
did-
old days, Matt would
oh.
have them up in an hour.
Yeah.
Jeremy Wyatt, I seriously think it's time for the podcast
Chris,
crew
don't
to
take
have
that personally, by the way.
a contest for a new song. What was this whole thing about you not interrupting anymore? Because you
Chris
have
just
you
shook
have
his head. I felt bad.
you
Yeah,
have
it was
violated.
the
You have violated
empathy
that.
inside
What
me
about
felt
all
bad
the
for
times
Chris.
you did
Chris,
before?
Yeah.
I want to kiss Chris.
That is not a slip. That is legitimate right
Do
there.
we need a new contest for a song?
We would love.
We could use a new song, a new
Okay,
intro.
Jeremy Wyatt. All right.
He
so
wants a
How do
crack
we
at
do
it.
it, Andy?
You can.
You
You can
send
win
in
if
a
you want
song.
to see.
Let's give away a free admission to the National Youth Ministry
Where's it at?
Conference.
That's a good idea.
Columbus.
Matt got pregnant
right?
at it last time.
Isn't it in Columbus this year?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Columbus,
Columbus,
It's in
That's
Ohio.
Ohio.
Sorry, I wasn't feeling.
Somebody
you.
was saying, hey,
There's
are
a
you going to
state
be
in the
in
Midwest.
Phoenix? And
That's it, Arizona.
no, what's the other city? Heinz
There's
Stadium?
a lot of them.
Paris.
Heinz Stadium?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Nope.
It's not going to be in Pittsburgh?
Nope.
Is a yeah, I almost
Yep.
made a joke.
You almost made a joke.
Oh, gosh.
All right, so what do they have to do? Send it in to podcast@simplyyouthministry.com, and
We'll vote on the best.
and the best one.
So a new theme song.
Yeah, we'll do like we did last time.
How
break it
lo-
down to some
How long?
winners.
How
Great.
long?
What do you want?
30 second.
50?
15.
15 seconds.
Yeah,
Okay.
15
I'd say
seconds.
15 to 20, because it's really hard to do something
And by
like
October
that.
1st, deadline.
And I just think
Give
that
them October 15th.
October 15th.
the
all
more
right.
9 Inch Nails, the better.
Yeah, are they allowed to bring
No.
in outside music
The
content?
more Michael
Especially
W.
9
Smith,
Inch
the
Nails, you
better.
can. It's
Sure, I
all
think so.
DRM.
Really?
Or non-DRM.
I'm voting for Jeremy. What's his
Camp.
name?
Jeremy Camp. That's a great idea.
Kemp. Good old vampire
This
lips.
is from Andrew Herothiker from
Geraldo.
That is a good job on that last
Lidditz,
name.
Pennsylvania.
Andrew
Lancaster
Boydman?
Evangelical
Oh,
Free Church.
Rothacker.
Here we go.
Rod Hacker.
We have a functioning
Road
program
Factor.
that has parent support and student involvement, but it is left over from years ago, but doesn't accomplish anything that our other programs accomplish. In a nutshell, it uses almost twice the resources, volunteers, time, communication, attention span, etc., to reach the same students. We want to keep our ministry simple and purposeful, and we're planning on ending the programs. We've come to the conclusion after years of pursuing other options. How do you end a program well? We've been lying on the ground praying, and I've been led to write to the podcast.
Ah, that's
Excellent.
awesome.
All
Excellent
roads
note.
lead.
I would say first
To
of
the
all,
podcast.
good job, because ending the program is the right call. You've ended up with the right decision
Well,
based on
they
what you
haven't
told
done
us.
it
You
yet.
know that based on a paragraph? of
Well, the
text?
way he's saying it's purposeless, it costs a lot of money, takes a lot of resources, it's stealing from why the church exists. Cut it. Good for you, bold move, tough move, but good for you.
That
Now,
way, Josh.
how do you do it?
Finally, you get encouraging
So
again.
definitive.
He's ready for another rip down.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're feeling hurt?
Yeah.
You're
Matt's a
such
little
a
on
meek
the
not only
fence
am I
spirit.
right now.
hurt, but I
That's one
feel hurt
feeling.
for Chris.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, it was a joke because he gets the podcast up much faster than you.
And better.
That was a joke. That was a poor taste. It
It
wasn't even true.
How do you end a program well? Well, last week we talked about how Jake lost a bunch of volunteers this summer.
Thank you.
So, how do you end a program well? Well, I'm not sure, because people are emotionally involved in a program, I'm not sure there's ever a good time to end it, because you're always going to hurt somebody. So we talk about this all the time. There's three
What is going on?
There's never a good time.
You're red.
deal.
Push record, Andy.
Then let's go.
All right. Can you control yourself? Are you back?
Well, don't say there's never an appropriate time, because I'm sure there are some situations that.
All right.
would be
So that was
appropriate.
funny to you?
No, I'm just
Oh.
saying there are.
That was the bit.
No, that wasn't the bit.
All
There
right.
was no bit.
In the middle of
Okay.
your laughter, you were still
I-
discerning what was intelligent about
I
those
just
comments.
was imagining some situations where it would
In
be
the context of
appropriate.
how I said it, when there's kids that are emotionally involved in the program, there's probably never a good time to end it, because you're going to hurt somebody.
Right.
So if you're looking for total peace, total harmony, everybody on board when you close a program. It's not going to happen. End of program, you got something coming up. December's coming up. When you take your Christmas break, gong it.
Program's gone.
Great time. You take a couple weeks off,
Yeah.
end the program.
Well, don't you think it would be a good idea? A couple
Merry
things.
Christmas.
would-
Open this up. No more program.
I mean, thank the people involved, because obviously people have pitched in if it's a long-running program, especially, and then celebrate, because hopefully if it's been running this long, there's reason to celebrate it. Maybe it's not working as well now, but
Yeah.
there's some reason why it's stuck around in your church for a while. So celebrate the good, thank the people who helped, and then
And
come
clarify
December,
the new direction.
yeah, and show students or whatever the next step for them. Since this program's gone, where do we want an entry-level student to go, or a small group student? What's the next step for them? Not this program. What is the step?
Yeah, because if you're not gonna gong it by Christmas, then really your next shot is summer.
Right.
In terms of if you want
Or
to do something
Easter.
clean,
You can do like the death of Jesus, the death of the program.
I guess you could.
But then the program
They'd
will
be
rise
hoping
again.
it would rise, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a chance it's coming back.
Yeah, but the new year, great chance.
All right, don't use my name,
That makes me want to know who it is.
Jennifer.
Just
I have some young adults, late 20s, early 30s, and one parent who love to work with teenagers and teach Sunday school and go on trips, but they seem to grow alligator arms.
What?
No one
Poor
wants
things.
to pick it up.
What is that?
Isn't that T-Rex? T-Rex arms.
Yeah, the problem with when you write something like that, because you kind
I
of
was thinking crocodile tears.
and this would be one where we would start talking about all that, and then we would skip the question.
Yeah. Not our
See you
fault.
later,
What are
alligator.
alligator arms?
He
They
says
don't
when
even
no
have
one
arms,
wants
they
to
have
pick it
legs.
up. No one wants to pick it
Because
up.
alligators can't pick things up, apparently.
When it comes to taking any responsibility, when things get planned, I ask who can help, and no one offers during the planning sessions. And when I get specific people, I get excuses when it's not done and end up doing last-minute juggling to get it done. I've tried asking for sweet spots or where they think they fit best, and I get wherever you need me. I want to say piss and get off the pot, meaning that they
Whoa.
can come
I
and
know
be
that
involved
phrase.
as chaperones, and I love to work with them on Sunday morning,
That's
but
the
for
wrong
planning,
phrase. That's supposed to be or, not
Easy,
and.
Matt.
Oh. I was confused.
Alligator
you are
arms.
fired up today.
Yeah.
You got
Oh, am I being mean right now?
no, but
No.
after the show, you're probably going to apologize to me about
For
how much you've
interrupting?
interrupted.
I was good on this question. Well, and then you went back for a second. It's hard to not interrupt on the second read.
Just
not a
enough
second
youth
read.
ministry.
I want to say piss and get off the pot, or meaning that they can come and be involved as chaperones, and I love to work with them on Sunday mornings, but for planning I can find others if they do not enjoy it. The downside is these leaders were the volunteer leaders between the two youth directors they had in 18 months when I came 4 years ago, and they are great with kids and have relationships. I fear hurt feelings and my words will come in off as a kiss-off. Is it me? Should I beg parents to get involved, or maybe have them take up the slack because those other leaders are afraid to say they are burned out? I'm becoming slightly fried after 4 years of my 10-hour-a-week job becoming another 40-hour-a-week
Whoa.
job on top of my full-time job.
Hmm.
It's a great question. So you're in a leadership position where people say they're a youth ministry team, they're great with kids, but they're not doing anything in the planning, or they're saying, hey, you're the point person, or hey, I'm too busy, or whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
And it sounds like they're great relationally.
yeah, and that's what I wrote, right down here. Good at
Oh.
relationships, meaning that if they're great at relationships, let them focus on relationships.
Right.
Have them be your relational team, but yes, find some other people who can maybe be more of the administrative team. Example: last night, Megan Hutchinson was doing the Life Hurts, God Heals, and I walked in to see how it was
Yep.
going. I see all of her leaders over in the corner, and they're praying together. And there's this one lady who was setting up the table and doing all this stuff, and I said, oh, I was teasing her. I said, are they only allowing Christians over there? I said, yeah. She goes, no, my job is I set everything up and I tear everything down. That's my job.
That's cool.
And I thought, that's kind of what he
Yeah.
needs, or she needs, whoever this is.
Casey.
Casey.
Casey Prince.
Yeah, Casey Prince. They need somebody that will do some of that type of stuff. And you know what? Honestly, there are parents who would rather do that type
Yeah.
of stuff
Yeah.
than lead a small group.
Well, and it sounds like that this person's also a little bit worried that if they bring somebody else in, that the other people are going to get their feelings hurt. Did you get that out of it?
I didn't get that sense.
I feel I fear hurt feelings and my words coming off as a kiss off. I think what you need to say in this situation, you pull them together and say, you know what, I've noticed over the 4 years, this group is incredible relationships.
Totally.
But I could give you 10 illustrations of in planning meetings where nobody has stepped up to take that on. And I understand that because you're spending all your time with students. So what I'm going to do, I've talked to Pastor about this, and I'm going to recruit 5 or 6 people to help us pull off the tasks and the planning.
Yeah.
They're going to be just as instrumental as a part of our youth ministry team. I want you to love on them and care for them. You guys do the kid stuff. They'll do the admin planning stuff, and we'll be one sweet, happy team.
Cool. Yeah.
What
I
do you
wonder
think?
if of the 10
I like
hours
it.
a week
That's it.
that this is one of his 10 hours listening to this podcast. And I said he again. I don't know if it's a
It's no
man
name.
or a
He
woman.
said
It's a
to-
gender
It's
neutral name.
gender neutral.
right.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, I think you totally nailed it.
10%
That's
of someone's
absolutely what
time.
he needs
This
to
would
do.
be worth it.
Really?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I doubt that.
Yeah.
Unless they had a long drive. Well, we are award winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least I am.
Not when I'm
Yeah.
here.
Natalie was more fun. This is from
It speaks to you, not me.
Denise Bonnet. Or-
Renee.
Or Denise. Or Dennis.
Gender neutral.
Denise.
Denise.
Or DB.
Dennis say.
DB.
Oh, DB. There it is. All right.
I have a concern. I recently got hired as a youth pastor. It's been a month since I began, and I guess my question is, when is the best time to start bringing some changes to ministry that has not really been running as
Not
it should?
at 1 month. Sorry.
Yep.
Without hurting the youth who are already there. There are about 10 to 15 youth, and I came in with my own mindset and realized that these kids were not ready for change so sudden. So I've been thinking that instead of bringing change and trying to focus on growing in numbers, I have to focus on making relationships with the ones that are there to get to know each other. But do you know when the right time is to bring change?
Great question.
That's so cool.
Don't you think a lot of youth pastors jump in with an itchy trigger finger? Like they're ready. Change. Like out with the old, in with the new. I'm the new youth worker. Let's go. I have a vision, direction, passion, energy,
You kind of turned everything upside down.
fresh eyes. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think there's ways.
But
yeah.
it depends on what the expectations are. So,
Right.
for example, if you are brought into a situation, you want to find out what the expectations are. And this-
Absolutely.
when I read this, not, and I know I'll get grief on this, but not thinking to plug first 2 years, but in first 2 years there is a whole thing on change and when do you bring about change. That you gotta know what your church is expecting. So if they're bringing you in to change
Right.
and you spend the first year just building relationships, it may be your last year.
Right.
So you got to know what's going on with the
Totally.
church and the people who hired you and what their expectations are. If they're cool with developing relationships, you develop relationships until you've got the trust, and then you've got to trust from the people who hired you. But you want to be clear about what are their expectations on you.
Right. If they brought you in to overhaul or to fix or then go for it. And if
Yeah.
they brought you in to maintain, it's going to take some time. It's great.
Yeah. But
Great call.
it is when you're spending time loving on kids and you see what it could be, you kind of do want to
Yeah.
get some
Oh,
change
yeah.
happening.
Tough to
I
wait.
think you can implement change slowly, but with, as Matt so proudly said before he heard the question, not within the first month. You want to take a little bit of time to know the landscape of your church and the kids and the expectations.
It's great.
Pretty much what you already said, right?
Yeah, I don't know why you guys are talking.
Hey, what was the deal with the blog? Did you blog it much better than More Than Dodgeball?
No, you were going to get Josh to email me that question.
What question?
You didn't email him that question?
No.
Didn't you listen to the show last week?
I handed you back the paper.
I listened to the first 10 minutes. It was good. Jake was off, but it was good.
Josh.
Okay, real quick. Every time we do a poll on you versus me, you always get chosen, correct?
We
Josh,
only
you're
did
gonna
it
do
once,
this
I
again?
think.
Spotlight
I thought
on
we did it
Matt
3
again. Put the
times.
Okay,
put the
we've done
lights
it a
on
few
Matt
times.
for a second, Brazel.
What's your point?
Brazel, point those lights on McGill. He wants a little McGill time right now.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
He hadn't talked really much during that
Yeah.
last question.
His,
talked all-
his bits
I
are kind of
talked-
floundered today.
Andy, put a poll up.
Nothing is floundered. Not anywhere close.
Put a poll up.
Do you like Josh Moore or Matt
Oh,
Moore?
speaking of poll, I know this interruption. Somebody might email about this. On your blog,
Yeah?
the poll about would you attend your church if you weren't the youth pastor?
Dude, incredible.
That
Was that
broke my
okay?
heart.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's
When
so
was it?
sad.
When was
Last
it?
night I read an email, and it freaked me out because it was a youth pastor that said, I would not go to the church I'm going to if I wasn't the youth pastor. And
why would that surprise or hurt
no,
you
no.
guys?
But no, what happened was it took me back.
Why would it hurt you
Yeah.
guys?
It took me back to other experiences in ministry that I had, and I felt the same way. And I kind of got sick right there going, oh, because I just forget now I love our church, and I love our ministry, and I would go here as an adult.
Right.
So I put up a poll, and I checked the results this morning, and it's stunning. More than half at the time I checked of the people in their church would not go there.
It's like 50 plus votes.
yeah.
I mean,
So I'm
just
interested
for
to see
no,
where it
there were
goes.
100 votes.
If you go to morethandodgeball.com, you can vote too.
For 99 cents, you can vote right there.
What if it was $1 a vote?
You're
But it was
terrible.
just an interest. I actually thought it was a little bit of a risky question, so
Maybe
I put a post.
Brazelton can help you with that.
Yeah.
How to get a
Yeah,
dollar
if you
per vote.
can $1 vote, that'd be great. I actually got a little nervous about the question, so I put another post on top of it just to kick it down,
Drive it down.
because I was like, ugh.
Really?
Because I wouldn't want anyone to read into my post in my current setting. You know, I wouldn't want you guys to be like, hey, is Josh happy? Well,
No, it didn't.
whatever.
Well, we know you're
So
not.
you be fake.
Yeah.
So no, so I said, this is a good question, I'm going to do it, but I'm also going to just not let
I
it be the
mean-
leading story for 24 hours.
Yeah. I mean, it's not surprising to me, and it's not necessarily bad. I mean, how is change going to happen if people aren't frustrated?
How is it not sad that you feel disconnected at your church?
You
Well,
would
it's
not
gonna
attend the
happen
church
every
you serve at.
generation.
Doesn't make it not
what happens
sad.
if Luther never felt sad at the church he went to? I mean,
I'm not. You're saying that you
we'd
can't
be
see how I
going to
thought it was
confession.
sad.
We would be
Peop-
going.
That's
People
sad.
should be a little discontented because that's why you serve at that church, though, right? Because you want to help them
If they're-
reach and grow and make a
And if
difference.
it's the younger people that are doing youth ministry and they've got their own ideas and want things to be done a little differently, I mean, it's just. I mean, I'm not
They're
saying
not
it's
saying a little
good.
differently. They said they wouldn't attend the church.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
great. I'm not
I
saying
know.
happy. You know, let's look for the rainbow and pot of gold and stuff. But
There's no way
I'm
it's not
just,
sad.
Oh well, to me, it's naive to say that's impossible. I mean, and since it's not impossible and it's needed for change, then it can't be that sad.
It's
So are
okay.
you saying Jake is naive?
You're calling me out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for on 100 topics.
Yeah.
The only one not is angels. That would be the only topic.
Yeah.
Well, I would agree with that. The first comment, I would say that's impossible.
Are you a little hurt that he called you out on wanting attention?
This is your bite back right here.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just an
No.
interesting question. Thanks for the
Yeah.
kudos because I was actually, I questioned whether I
You
should
know what?
post
Here
that
would be
question.
another interesting question, or maybe not interesting, but another question.
It will be
Is
the
what if you did like going to your church, but you're doing ministry so much, you're just tired of church.
That's for
You
sure.
know, so even if you're at the cool, you know, you are at Life TV, the coolest
Cutting ed, right,
Yeah.
right.
But you're going, oh man, another hour sitting and listening to somebody say, I'm so tired, I want to go
Right.
home and flip on TV.
Yeah,
Speaking of
it's
football
true.
season,
Oh man.
Oh,
Those
hallelujah.
Cowboys.
number
Almost
one
as good
rated
as my
show,
Raiders.
number one rated show, like
Fringe?
of the top 10 shows this week,
Fringe was awesome.
7 were football.
Yeah.
Dude, it's good to have
Does
it
that
back.
say our culture was waiting for it to come back?
Mhm.
The
Sunday
NFL
night,
owns.
Monday night, Sunday. Oh, so good.
I wish they had Thursday night games the whole season.
They will later, right? Later in the year.
They keep adding
So
more and
good.
more. It keeps starting earlier in the season.
We should go to a game together. Why don't we go hang out at a football
I've never
game?
been to an
Let's
NFL
fly.
game.
See, here's
You've
the-
never been to an
Chargers
NFL game?
games are so fun.
Here's what Kathy said the other day.
Let's go
Oh,
to a
she said-
Raider game.
She said,
Yes.
we need to get a team because there is, we got no team here.
That's
U-
true.
that's why
LA.
USC by default.
We have a
is like
team, the Raiders.
The pro team.
the Raiders. The Raiders are not our team.
The Raiders are totally our
Matt,
team.
name 3 players on the Raiders.
Good question.
The guy with the skull mask.
That's
The
right,
guy
that's
with.
How about the quarterback? Let's just go to the most
They
popular
just
position.
played.
Golly.
You just watched him get killed.
I
this
didn't
week.
watch the game. I had to work on Monday night.
Oh.
Quarterback. Oakland Raiders, your team.
I know as soon as you say
Jamarcus?
it, no, that's Russell. That's the running back, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the quarterback.
That's the quarterback. But
Is it really?
Yeah, that's right.
I was gonna. That was the
He
only
did
name
not
that
look
came
good either on Monday night. He looked rough.
I thought he looked good.
250 pounds quarterback.
He no, he
They're-
looked
and they're
good,
saying
but
he's.
but I'm
he had
saying
a good
Is he
outing.
6'6"?
he had a good day. If you go back and look at his numbers, he did not have
Yeah,
a
they
bad
said
day.
he
It was
didn't-
not
he
him.
wasn't that bad.
I didn't think it
He had
was.
no
All right,
picks.
let's get back to
Fair enough. All right, back to youth ministry.
Baseball.
Raider Nation's
Just so
got
you
a lot of
know,
love.
Josh is beating me by 2 votes right now.
Why'd you
You-
put yourself on there?
Because I always have.
Andy likes the spotlight.
Brazel.
Andy,
Anyway, it's Josh versus Andy now?
Andy.
Don't
it was
hog it
Jo-
from McGill.
All we asked was
Brazel,
Josh versus
do a
Matt.
new, yeah.
Josh has 8, Matt has 4, Jake has 4.
Brazel, when is your job to think?
I got the
your
same
job
as
is to
you.
follow
Up
directions.
top.
No,
Yeah.
you're the same as
Andy,
Matt.
Andy,
Oh.
You have 4.
that's a
Andy.
letdown.
Yeah, Brazel, take that off and do it.
We're not going to pimp your products like Live Out Loud,
Josh
6
is-
weeks of small group curriculum
Yeah, Love
from
Out
Doug
Loud.
Field. What crud?
Josh just jumped to 10.
Did you get a
What?
promo
Yes,
code on
it
that?
did.
Yeah.
Did you figure out a price? What are we going to do for Love Out Loud?
20% off
20% off
through September 30th.
through September 30th.
Keyword.
Promo code LOL podcast.
LOL
Laugh out
podcast.
loud.
Is there a space?
No spaces.
No space. LOL podcast.
That's it.
Love Out Loud, 6 weeks of video curriculum. It's $35?
39, 35, something like that. I don't know.
Okay, so it's 35 or 39.
There's no way this is happening right now.
Didn't I ask you if you turned off your phone?
And I
Wasn't
you-
his phone out
Yeah,
there?
he said it was
my
out there.
phone
Oh,
was out
Kathy
there.
brought it in for him.
No, Nadine
okay.
did, for which I'm very
Nadine.
LOL what?
LOL podcast.
India
Okay.
brought it into it. Yes.
I'll do a straight Jake or Matt poll right now.
No.
Sorry, Josh or Matt.
I don't want to. I don't want to skew the results, but I will give you a free more than dodgeball shirt. No, I won't.
No,
I won't.
he won't.
That's funny. I'll give you the truth.
Yeah, what do you think?
There it is. He's back. Here we go.
I'd rather have a shirt.
Trust me, I know.
Kevin Massey, our good buddy. As I've met with other youth workers at smaller churches, they don't get together to plan as a staff. Hey, speaking, is Kevin Massey coming out to the PDYM gathering?
We'll be at the gathering.
Awesome.
Excellent.
So with that said, how long do you stand your ground with events you've planned that you are passionate about, not just fun activities, but activities which are focused on spiritual growth?
Stand your ground against what?
I'm guessing it's not a complete question. How long do you stand your ground with events you plan? I'm guessing it's how long do you stand your ground against people who are other volunteers, other people criticizing what you have planned as a youth pastor planning by yourself.
Well,
So you make a calendar, a fall calendar, here's some ideas, and you get your volunteers together who didn't want to come to the planning meeting,
Right.
and now
You
they're
say,
criticizing.
here's what we're doing. Yeah.
Or they question it or challenge it, which we know, most of the volunteers are going to do.
Yeah. Don't you think you
Part
just
of-
invite them to the planning meeting, and it's like voting. If you vote, you have a voice, and if you don't, you don't have a voice.
Part of it's going to depend event to event. There might be something you're super passionate about, and other stuff that you could care less if they speak into and want to switch up.
Yeah. Well, I sure wouldn't mind hearing the wisdom of somebody who's
Totally.
Yeah.
like, okay, now tell me why you're not excited about this. Okay. All right, I've heard you. We're still doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point,
Right.
I would say to Kevin, or anybody like that in that situation, you're the leader of that ministry, and everybody's going to take shots at leaders. They're going to take shots at what you're doing. They're not going to like it. They're not going to like the way you do it. They're not going to step up and do anything about it, but they're going to criticize
Right.
what you do as a leader. So, how long do you take a stand if you feel passionate about it and you think it's in the best interest of the ministry? You stick up for it.
Yeah, maybe
if
there's
you can't stick up for it, you shouldn't have planned it.
Yeah, and maybe there's ways to be more collaborative too. Like maybe you can send out the first draft of the calendar to a select group of people, get some feedback on it. Maybe they'd say, it's not heavy enough. It's too heavy. Too many Friday nights. Not enough. Spiritual activities. Whatever. Like get some feedback on it before you just announce it to the world. Here it is. Run it by a few people. Maybe I think you would say a big fan and a big critic, and get some feedback on it.
I'd say you stand your ground if it makes sense. If somebody wants to change something and it's not that big of a deal, then concede. But if it's the greatest program since sliced bread, like you describe, purposeful and all that stuff, not just fun, then you got to stand your ground because you're the leader. But
Like, is it a hill you want to die on kind of thing?
right.
Well, and you know what? Sometimes, let's just be honest. Sometimes it is just darn tough being the leader,
Yeah.
because you just have to make decisions, and every decision is going to be critiqued by somebody, And not everybody's going to like the decision. If they don't like the decision, you personalize that. And it's tough to stand your ground at times. And
Totally.
and that's where, that's the great thing, that we take advantage of is the community.
Right.
Because we know we've got each other's backs on things, or we at least have a sounding board and things like that. Sometimes, when Kevin says I've met with other youth workers at smaller churches, they're all by themselves.
Yeah, totally.
And
That's a tough
we've
spot.
talked about this before, that sometimes, this podcast serves as a staff meeting. What are you doing here?
It's just so hot.
Quick update on
Andy,
the poll.
you
Josh
can-
versus Matt.
You can turn that around, Andy.
Yeah, that affects the lighting of the show.
72% vote for Josh, 27% vote for Matt.
It's like
Josh ruined the results by talking
It's
about
like-
the dodgeball shirt.
I'm Sarah
No,
Palin right
Matt,
now.
Matt
More
ruined
ways
it
than you know.
by asking for it, because it's like
Yeah.
let's defeat the guy that's asking
Well,
for
if
it.
they
Yeah.
wanted
Or-
to defeat me, they
and
would have voted for me.
Let's talk
'Cause
about it
that's
every
my
single
point.
week.
Yeah.
You want another
You just
vote?
went with 25%, Matt.
Thank you.
Oh, dude, you're jumping up in the poll.
What about would you be sad if Matt died?
There you go. Would you go to his funeral? That's a fair question. Let's say he has a massive heart attack.
That's over the line.
Hey, I will be at your funeral, dude.
Hey,
I will sing at
I've
your
been
I'm not
funeral.
sad
even gonna
many
have
times.
a funeral.
Yes,
Yeah?
you are.
Are you gonna? What are you gonna do? Cremation?
I wrote a letter. It's gonna be read at my funeral.
You did?
I thought you weren't gonna have a funeral.
Well, if I have to have one.
Well, you don't have a choice.
You just
It's
back
gonna
down.
happen with or
How long
without.
you-
You're right.
How long are you gonna stand on your program?
Is this a living will
If
right
you don't
now?
want if you don't want a
If
funeral,
I
you
don't
don't
want
have
a
to have a
funeral.
funeral.
No, there has to be.
Yeah.
Because so many people love me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, they know there'll be great food at it.
Well,
you're
I
loaded- you're loaded.
I
would
won't
that
be
be?
planning it, so there probably won't be good food.
Oh no.
How great
I
would it
won't
be
go
for
to
somebody to
that.
walk up to me at your funeral and say, I was a trusty podcast listener. I just wanted to come pay my respects to Matt McGill.
Yeah.
They just walk up to the
That would be
casket or
awesome.
the urn.
That would be
Yeah.
You know what? Now you're gonna need somebody to share the millions that you have with.
I'll have already stepped in there. Aaron and I will come live with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to. You need to do
You
that.
guys are so.
No, that's biblical. He needs to carry on. Carry on the McGill line.
All right.
I think with the four boys would be pretty good.
Yeah.
I know.
Hey,
I just-
podcast
like-
crew, it's nice to see the whole team back on the show again.
Whoa.
Jay.
Whoa,
Hey,
we're
Thank
incomplete
you.
without you. I like
I
that.
don't
I have a
think we
question for
really
you
need
to consider answering. Student leadership. How do you define student leadership, and what advice can you share to how you implement and grow the student leadership team without creating a club or we are better than you mindset? It would be nice to get any feedback on student leadership from you. I have chosen to spare you any of the usual Matt, add a comment here, or Josh, answer this, and the t-shirt is on its way. Sorry, but I am sure you get enough of them weekly. Josh, I do feel your pain waiting for an iPod, though.
Oh my goodness.
I have no
Well,
idea what that person just
before we
said.
get into the question, I would just like to say that I have a little something to show you today.
You
This
finally got an iPod,
is
huh?
an iPod Touch, and
Doug doesn't even know what that is.
it's the best iPod on the market.
Wow, good for you.
Is it, when
And
did you get it?
I actually got it in the mail from a guy from C2DVD.com, and Michael W. Smith sent me this
No, I
iPod.
bet you it
Let me
didn't
see.
say Michael W. Smith.
I
bet
it
you-
did. No, on the back
On
it
the
was
box?
autographed.
On the box?
On the back of the iPod, it was autographed, but my greasy fingers, it smeared off already.
I don't believe
swear
that.
to you, it was
I
autographed.
don't believe that.
He wouldn't lie.
You promise?
It was autographed, not by Michael W. Smith, but it was by somebody.
He wouldn't lie?
That's a shade of the truth.
You're
That's not a
right.
lie.
He does lie.
Hey,
I forgot
so
about that.
the guy says
So
next
the-
time anyone brings up iPod, pull out your iPod and show Doug your brand new
That's
iPod
great.
Touch. So
That's great.
you got a Nano a few
Congratulations.
weeks ago, and
Hey, ride my coattails all the way to the bank. McGill has.
So if
the other way around, what are you talking about?
so I've been listening to some great music, and
That's awesome.
C2 DVD is pretty
That's
cool, guys.
good.
Michael
So
W. Smith
they,
sent me an iPod.
They one up me. But
They
you still-
did.
I still
It's a
have
total get.
I still have the box.
You
sent
have
from.
You have Pink on your iPod?
It's a
Griff-
long story.
Griff has the worst music selection.
No, I
Okay,
have some
Do you
good
guys
music
know this?
on
Do you guys know this, Andy? That Josh and Jake are in a music club.
Oh,
We
this
started
is
a
true.
music club.
Yes,
Essentially,
it's like EMI.
I don't like
here's
new
the
iPods.
rules.
I think
Once
it's
a
dumb.
Hold
month,
on.
we come up with a disc. There's 7 members in the club right now. A 12-song disc based on a theme for that month.
One
So
for each
month
of the tribes.
month 1 was slow dance. Everyone had to come up with 12 great slow dance songs, and actually Griff did fantastically.
I did all right.
It was excellent. We also
And
well,
do you actually burn a disc, or do you just exchange it?
no,
No,
burn
we
a disc to
literally
make
burn a disc.
because we want to be able to listen to it in the car.
Look
have
at
it
how
ready
cool
to
that
go.
is. Seriously.
Yeah, it was.
No,
it was
I don't need to
important,
hold it.
At least for week 1 to have the disc.
You can just
Or
touch
month
it.
1. It was awesome. It was.
How many months have you guys done it?
This is
How
just the
cool
first
is
one.
that?
And anyone's welcome to join.
I mean,
So Griff
it's
was
no
the strongest
nano.
player?
It's no nano. but it's
There's
good.
voting that's ongoing for who's the top.
Is that what I got at
Yeah.
Nano?
You got a
Somebody-
nano, which is
somebody gave you a
awesome.
free.
What is it?
I
You're
had
gonna break
my
it, don't
favorite
break it.
on my album
Why not? You got it for
was
free.
Save the Best for Last by
Does
Vanessa.
surprised
somebody
you
wanna
haven't poured
send
any
me a
water on it.
Kindle?
How about
I'm so
this?
bummed
I
out.
had
How about
Heaven
this?
by Brian Adams.
Okay, we're done with that. We're done with that.
I was just
We're
talking to
back
Basil.
over
You
here.
guys are
I
fine.
know,
Music
but you're
Club.
still on.
Here.
You're still on our show.
Hold on, I
Keep
want to
talking
look
old
at.
stuff.
You're still on our award-winning
You
show.
trying to figure out how to work an iPod?
No, here's what I'm thinking.
I wanna
Here's
look
what
at
I'm
YouTube
thinking.
on my iPod
I'm
right
thinking
now.
if we actually wanted to promote Michael W. Smith's
Oh, yeah.
CDs, that
Yeah.
that he would send me this one with an autograph on the back.
With a Michael W. Smith autograph on the
Because
back?
that would trump you.
There's no way. There's no way.
And then, well, here's the deal.
Well, and the
I
new ones of
watched-
these are coming out.
I watched
Yeah.
the.
You
should get the newer one.
I
They're
watched
awesome.
the trailer of the videos. Have we even seen a video yet? 'Cause I want to see the whole one.
I got him. I got him now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I haven't seen him. They
So
look
he
great.
sent them to you.
Yeah. He
Oh.
sent me the 2 movies they have out already,
Yeah.
and an iPod Touch.
That's nice. That's nice. Boy.
Google
He doesn't know
Alerts
who's
for
in charge of
George
promotion.
Lucas.
I'm the one that picks up all the products.
What?
Send my iPod to me.
No. You're a vacant face off screen, Basil. You need to hop over here.
Yeah, get
Film
on
that.
get on the
nice.
camera.
Okay.
Obviously, they want me there.
Student leadership. Student leadership.
Here we go.
Good job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Way to go.
Thank you.
We're
Thanks, Michael.
thedodgeball.com.
Thank you.
Only homeschool kids use the original earbuds.
I use them too. It's okay.
I'm gonna throw them away right now. Done. I got some sweet ones in the car. Keep that back.
Okay, student leadership. How do you define student leadership, Matt?
They're leaders who are students.
All right.
No. Okay. Student leadership. I think that there's lots of different ways to look at a student leader program. I don't think that there is one right way to do it. I think that when you talk about leadership, biblically, what we've always decided as a ministry is that a person who's leading is a person who serves, and I mean, I think that's the best. Obviously, that's the best, because that's what Jesus was talking about. Hey, if you're going to be take your faith seriously, and if you're going to be the first in the kingdom, then you got to be last. So there has to be any kind of a student leadership program has to be some kind of a servant focus, no matter what you're doing. I think
Which would break up what he says without creating a
Mhm.
club or a "we are better than you" mindset. Because
when that's
if
part of
if
it,
servanthood is the foundation, that's going to crumble those two.
right. And I think that what we've done is we've cast a wide net for what our student leadership program, or what your student leadership program used to look like. I don't know what it looks like now, because I don't do ministry. But
How's the budget coming?
But you know, we cast a wide net, saying, hey, if you're serving in a ministry, whether you lead in that ministry team or not, that you could still be a part of it. And we had some requirements and some things like that, which I'm sure we'll get into. But one of the things that, as we did a wide net to say anybody serving, we didn't focus on you know, students with that quote unquote gift of leadership, the
Right.
smaller subset of people that are real charismatic, that are, you know, they're going to be the young Republicans club at Model United Nations or whatever. You know, we didn't ever do anything that just focused on those people with just leadership gifts. We didn't do anything specifically for them. But I think that some people in some ministries have, and that's great and good, and there's nothing wrong with that either. We cast a wide net because you're going to get that smaller percentage, capital L leader in that, even though you cast a wide net.
Sure.
I think there's other ways to go after it.
So the appetite, to develop the appetite, was getting anybody in ministry. If you're doing
Right.
in ministry, if you're a greeter, if you stack the chairs, if you're part of the band, if you're in the choir, you have a minister's heart. We would call you, in our culture, we would
Yeah.
call you a leader.
Yeah.
It's not an official student leader program until they would then take a next step, and we set qualifications of what it would look like really to be kind of a pastor on their campus, and we've established what those qualifications are. Then we do an interview, and we have a subset from that ministry group. And it's actually what we do is spelled out in PDYM chapter 10 on the core. We talk about how we take kids to develop a student leadership program. But the DNA of it is
You
servanthood.
gotta be serving.
Yep.
You gotta be serving.
Yeah, because then it becomes, if not, it becomes a cute, fun, and popular. It's the club, it's the clique, it's the
Yeah.
activities calendar people, you know, the elders' kids, the whole bit.
And when we put requirements onto it and did an interview and stuff, basically that was just to look someone in the eye and say, hey, it's great that you're serving in a ministry. You know, now, are you doing it for the right reasons? Are you willing to live a lifestyle that's above reproach? And we would look at some of those elder passages. Not that we would make a high school student an elder of the church, but to say, hey, here's a goal of what it looks like for a lifestyle to be above reproach, and we'd ask them to commit to that. So
This is a question from John Batch. I don't know if I said his name right, but it was good.
Hi, John.
Good question.
I'm not waiting for my iPod anymore.
No, but I think we would actually talk about C2. What is it called?
C2DVD.com.
Yeah, we would talk about that.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, why don't we watch?
I mean-
why don't we watch one and see what we think?
Well, if they sent me one, I just have on that small little iPod I got.
It's
that
too
little
hard to
tiny
see
one.
it on my Libby Smith.
Well, it was just clips. It was just little
yeah.
like video
Love
bites.
clips?
It wasn't
Well-
the whole video. I don't think there was enough memory on mine. for the whole video.
I think you're right, but the iPod Touch had enough.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good get.
Oh, it's a great get.
Yeah.
I was dying when I opened the box. I was dying. It's
Yeah.
so great. Waiting for this moment.
Good. You're gonna have to let them know that.
was it everything you hoped it'd be?
Ah, it's good. I'd give it like a B plus probably.
What B?
Oh, because I wanted a little more from them too. I wanted them to like throw confetti or something. But other than that, it was
Oh,
good.
I thought
already knew you
I thought
had
you
it.
the gift was
Yeah.
a B.
Oh no, the gift is A
Oh,
plus
okay.
plus.
Yeah, he's
no.
been talking
Say,
about it nonstop.
I mean I mean this.
You should have seen
shit.
him before the show started. Him hiding it. In
I was
his
just
shirt. It was
kind
so
of had it
exciting.
under here. It was great. It was
Yeah,
great.
basically the biggest letdown of this podcast.
Not your humor.
You know what's funny though? And I have had an iPod for a
It's
while.
soaring like an eagle.
And Ange
With
wanted
a
my
broken
iPod,
wing.
and I haven't missed it. And now I got the iPod Touch, and I carry it everywhere now because it's just so much more than an iPod. It's so much more than an iPod Nano too, I might add.
Yeah. What
And how
else?
much space does it have? Enough
8
for 5
gigs.
songs?
8 gigs.
Oh, 8 songs.
400 songs probably.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's not.
What
huge.
else is there? What else do you use it for?
YouTube, internet, all sorts.
Oh.
It's
Yeah,
got Google
if you've
Maps.
got
Only
Wi-Fi.
Only Wi-Fi though.
Yeah,
You have Wi-Fi
So
on
it's
it?
quite limited.
Yeah.
yeah, but it's not an iPhone, so you can't use it everywhere.
Yeah.
And it can't use all the features.
Yeah, totally sucks.
Totally awesome.
Doug, Josh, Matt, and Jana, I have the dates for the PDYM conference for next year, March 24th through the 27th.
Okay.
And I was wondering what the prices were going to be for the conference.
Free.
It's not on the website?
Send us an iPod. Actually, you can't register, and it's not on the website.
Oh,
No,
it's going to be...
I had a
it's gonna
buddy
be-
email me too saying the same thing. Like, I want to get in before it sells out. So
That's good, because
Is
it's
it
going
gonna
to
sell out?
Yeah, we're
Well,
going to keep it small.
it's
Are
only in
you
the
sure?
refinery, so it's going to be. It is going to be.
It's going to sell out? Because a lot of people, when they're doing conferences, they say it's going to sell out.
Well, here's the difference. This is a conference that we've normally had, you know, over like 1,800 or 2,000 or
Right,
2,200,
right.
whatever we had. We're only going to have 650.
Okay, it's going to sell out.
Yeah.
So it's a third the say.
Stand corrected.
March 24th
Oh,
through
I
the
wasn't
27th.
corrected. I asked a
It
question.
was just a bit. Don't
Okay,
And-
so what is it going to cost? Do you have any idea?
I know.
I really
Here's
don't
what I
know.
asked Jana. I said, let's make it as inexpensive as we can, because we're kind of doing old school PDYM.
Yeah.
We're not going to bring in all the national speaker type people, and when you pay the prices to bring them in, you have to make that up somewhere, and so you make it up in the cost.
Right.
Because what we've decided is that we have denominational conferences where people go to. You have a national conference that people go to, like in this fall right now, YS obviously has their conferences, and Simply Youth Ministry and Group has one February, what, Andy?
It's like the 24th to the 28th or something.
Okay, in February, and then
Yeah, group's
churches,
cool.
and now a bunch of
Good.
churches. So we're going, you know what, we're just a church-based conference. We can't compete with the national stuff and denominations.
That's
So
great.
we're church-based, and so,
Love it.
but we're gonna go back to what we do well. We're gonna spend a lot of time with people. We're gonna hang. We're gonna do
Cool.
the home, hangout, and some
I
people are
love
gonna
it.
come over
Desserts
They have an
and
option
my
to
house.
spend the day with Matt.
Yes.
Well, since Matt really doesn't.
Well, speaking of which, Cameron never got his autographed picture with McGill and
Rick Warren.
and Warren.
It
I know.
totally got sent to him.
He says he's never got it. He's on right now.
Oh wow.
Anyway,
good. So come hang out with us.
Chuck
Just
Aiden,
kidding.
Chuck
gonna say
Aiden says,
that's
I would love to plan on coming out to
not
Saddleback
silly
and check
face.
out the refinery and hang out with you guys, but there is not much money in the budget for conferences, and would love to be able to bring my wife. She's involved in the ministry as I am, but doesn't get paid. If you could help me out in any ways, that would be awesome. Chuck, why don't we do this? Why don't we let your wife come free? Okay?
You pay
Wow.
So, Chuck, you register. Okay, I got to get this to Jana because I'm going to
Yeah.
forget.
And she's totally not going to listen to the show.
And
either,
Jana's
so-
not, and Jana's not going to believe her. Say, wait, Doug
Okay.
did what?
No. Okay.
She'll believe it, trust me.
Free spouse. Okay,
Free
so Chuck,
spouse.
for Chuck, not for
Free
everybody.
For
spouse.
Chuck. All right.
All right.
We
Hey,
should just we
let's-
should try to sell
let's,
it out in like a
Can
day.
Mish come
That'd
for
be
free?
Fun.
Yeah.
It's got just enough youth ministry so that you don't feel guilty listening.